Intersection, intersection, magazine, magazine.
Intersection Magazine Podcast.
Hey, welcome to Intersection Magazine Podcast. My guest is Elie Bouzaglou. I met Elie through a conversation we had on email. He had listened to some of the work that we've been doing around artificial intelligence, um, uh, some of the ideas that we're sharing around sovereign wealth funds in Norway and how they were reinvesting the money that they're making through the oil sector, as well as a few other things that he had read that I was working on. So Elie is founder of Fishtank VC. Have had a look at some of the work that he's been doing. It's revolutionary in the sense that he's rethinking the way companies, the way founders and investors engage in terms of how founders can meet investors who are interested in their startups. Um, for those who've been watching the space for a while, you're familiar with grants, you're familiar with competitions, maybe, at least in where I'm from, how people start getting investment into their ideas. But it can be quite frustrating. So Eli will share his journey in terms of some of the challenges he's faced with crowdfunding, and then how his idea has come to the surface and how he's solving for those of you who are building solutions and who have ideas, but you're having difficulty breaking into the spaces where you need to break into in terms of attracting funding. So, Eli, please, thank you for being a part of this. Tell us about yourself.
First of all, thanks for having me, Nicholas. All right, so I'll start at the beginning. Around a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was sitting on my bed. I was scrolling on TikTok, and there was this guy online. He was in the UAE, and he was talking about how he failed 12 businesses before he made his first penny. And I was 16 at the time. I remember seeing that, and I was like, wow, well, why don't I start failing now?
Mm-hmm.
So my first failure, I like to call it a failure. It wasn't much of a failure, but I like to put them in terms of failures. Is I got onto Lovable. I'm sure everyone knows about it now, but I got onto Lovable, and I basically started building websites for local businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I made it that it was like a form that we would send out, and then they would fill it out, and then it would go straight to Lovable, and then the website would be sent to them. This was before it was well known. Eventually, we scaled to around 20 employees. They were all salesmen. They would make 20% of the cut. They would cold call and everything. I would just make the website, but it wasn't even me. It was going great, but a common pain point brought up to me by basically the entire team was, anyone doing sales knows this. It's you never know what you're doing wrong, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
hard to improve when you don't know what you're doing wrong, because people would often hang up on their face and they're like, okay, was the beginning wrong? Did I not give them enough time to talk? Did I not say enough about what I'm building? Did I not emphasize enough on the pain? And you never know what you're doing wrong, because it's just you and the person who just hung up on your face. So I basically built this AI cold calling trainer app, and what it was is you would basically either upload an existing cold call you made that you recorded, or B, you could actually practice with an AI. And once you uploaded your call, it would say exactly what you did wrong, and then you could replay those moments with the AI. So it was never
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be anything big. It was an internal tool. However, basically the entire team said, wow, this is amazing. Bring this to market. Try putting this out there. And I was like, yeah, it's bringing a product to market. You need a lot of users. There's API credits. At the same time, this isn't a company or a startup that's going to be doing billions. So VCs won't back it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try. After much convincing of the team, they convinced me, and I tried to bring it to market. So I said, okay, I'm going to need some capital first. I turned to crowdfunding. I went to republic.com. My cousin told me about it. And I basically got flat out rejected. They said, nope, sorry. And it makes sense because the way you discover a company on these websites is extremely boring. It's basically, let me paint you a picture. It's like a square with a logo and then the title. And if you like the colors of the logo, then, well, then now you read a 15-page PDF document. No one likes doing that. And the only people that do that are VCs. So the people on these pages are only VCs. And I knew my company wasn't fit for VC dollars. However, um, dude, that's exactly why they basically outright rejected me and said, nope, we can't have you on this website. Now what's the real problem that I see personally with this, especially with the uprising and the uptrend in both vibe coding and entrepreneurship, is no one wants to get a job. Most people nowadays want to be an entrepreneur, and the easiest way I like to think of it as the next e-com will be building and shipping apps. Now, an app doesn't mean it has to be $1 billion company. I mean, personally, between me and you, I'm sure for the average person, building and scaling an app to $1 million a year is plenty for them. But a VC looks at that, that's peanuts. That's not enough for them. Now, for someone like me and you, if we would want to invest in a company that's later going to make $1 million a year, that's a great investment. Now, why isn't anyone on these crowdfunding sites? Once again, it's boring. No one likes to read, not even VCs. That's literally their job. And we basically said, okay, what is something that people like doing? And if they find something on that platform that isn't 100% entertaining, they'll still stay on it. And that's TikTok. When you scroll on TikTok and there's a video that you don't necessarily fall in love with, what do? You just scroll. Now that's where the idea of the video came from, especially being the fact that a lot of founders nowadays are building in public, meaning that they document their journey, they put it up there. Now that's exactly what you do on Fishtank. You upload your building in public, you document your journey, you upload pitches, so it could be like a kind of like a Shark Tank pitch, if any of the viewers are familiar with what Shark Tank is. And yeah, investors scroll and they could fund your company all through the app.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So how is your what's the role of artificial intelligence in this? Does it help you in terms of fix your pitch, or where does the AI come in?
I'm glad you asked that. So the vision for Fishtank is not just to be a place where you pitch your company. It's meant to be a place where you start at A and go all the way to Z. You start at nothing. You start with an idea you had at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's why there's plenty of different components. So for example, like you mentioned before, the community part, it's very hard to ask your mom if she likes your idea, because she's always going to say yes. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to strangers, the innovation is you post your idea just in a text, and you basically get the entire community will pick apart your idea, basically saying, okay, I'm building Uber for dogs. Tell that to your mom. Great idea, honey. You tell that you put on this community. There's going to be people saying, bad idea. This is why it's bad, and then you get to learn from that. Then there's the AI part, which is the AI actually will refine your idea, give you suggestions, refine your pitch for you, help you out with your pitch, and yeah.
Okay. I was looking through your Fishtank VC site, and I noticed you sharing a lot of insights in terms of some of the background information people might need around investment, around setting up businesses. Tell us a little bit more about why you thought it's important to mention the form C. What does this mean for people that are investing or investors? Is it specific for those who are in the US, or give
Yeah.
me a rough
Now,
idea in terms of the scope of your setup.
okay, so now the platform uses the regulation CF, meaning that it's a crowdfunding platform, and to start a campaign, you can't just say I'm building the next rocket ship company and then just put it out there, right? Because that's lying. So
Mm,
we are a registered funding portal, and what this does is it's locked in with the government. It's official. Like you can't just give someone saying, "Here, you own equity, give me money." That doesn't that won't really stand up in court. Now, Form C is it's a form that the founder has to submit to through us to FINRA, and then that's what basically allows them to raise from the public that in crowdfunding, and they could raise up to $5 million on a platform like Fishtank.
mhm. Okay. Um, Now, in terms of so it's what there's a beta that's out right now. Where in terms of where are you at in terms of the application itself?
I'm glad you asked that. So, as of right now, the actual mobile app development is basically near the end. Unfortunately, when you're building something with this much disruption, and there's also government and securities and equities involved, the government doesn't really like you too much in terms of like they won't respond to your emails that second, obviously. Um, Now, it's a very long and painful process, but
Okay.
um, like I said before, we need to secure regulatory compliance, and that's a very long and painful process, but it's going to be worth it once we're ready.
Okay. Um, so is it currently based in Canada or are you based in the US?
So the business is based in Delaware in the United States.
Delaware. Okay.
Uh,
So it's domiciled in Delaware.
Correct.
Okay. Um, Give us a rough idea in terms of what your team structure looks like. Um, you were never able to go through the hurdle of raising, but like, how do things stand for you right now? Maybe this has given you a bit more visibility, but how are things like in terms of what's the state of things right now? Are you raising? Are you hiring? Are you looking for partnership? Um, Give us a rough idea how we can help or how listeners
Yeah.
can partner with you.
For sure. Now, in terms of the raising part, I have experienced it twice. First of all, first for the AI cold calling trainer app, which failed because I knew it was never going to be a venture backed startup. So I only tried crowdfunding platforms after they all rejected me. Um, I realized, okay, this is it. Now for Fish Tank, this is going to be huge. I think of this. Um, it's the form of investing with the highest ROI, and most people don't even know about it.
Mm,
Um, I feel like this will be huge, and this will be we have raised for this venture. Now, it is a very, very long and painful process. You
mm,
basically just cold emails, pitch decks, and most people they don't even read them. You get ghosted. It's not a fun process, but
mm.
once again, it only motivates me even more because that's exactly the problem that we're solving.
It sounds like you're up against quite a lot of quite a lot of hurdles. Um, I'm interested in your decision to go to to kind of use a TikTok model or TikTok style. Are you going to have a similar algorithm? Because that's everybody talks about TikTok's algorithm as its strength. Are you going to have something similar to that in terms of um, what actual pitches come to a person's view when I open up my interface to see who's open for investing?
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, there would be an AI powered search. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for for some sort of company that's going to be consumer facing, and it fixes a problem in this area. Because let's say you just had this problem, and you're like, I wonder if someone's building something like this because this is a real problem, and I would pay for the solution. I know my mom would pay for the solution. I know my brother would pay for the solution. I know all my friends would. This is going to be a very
Mm,
this is a successful idea. So now you could search that, see if anyone's building something to fix that problem, If someone is, you can invest in their company. If someone's not, you yourself could take that idea, put it into the community, say, hey, this is my idea. Tear it to pieces. Someone says this is bad, this is good, this is good, this is bad, and then you basically you turn it from just an idea to like a full plan, and then you execute on that plan.
Oh wow, awesome. Um, just to give you a bit of a background, what I'm currently working on is I got this. I found this. It seems like it's a bot. It's a chat bot, but it's feels a lot more like a supercomputer. It's called Bordy. I don't know if you've heard of Bordy. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
we've been having interactions in terms of this thing guides me through setting up. It literally helped me think around the ideas that I was putting together. Um, it was helping me figure out because I have so many different things that I'm doing. It was asking me to set up to be very specific about what I want to set up as a flagship. Then it started guiding me in terms of letting me know um, who I should be contacting for pitches and collaborations. So it was really, really, really useful. And so the AI side of it, or the supercomputer side of it, was very strong. Um, and one of the things that it's also doing is it will regularly send me messages and tell me, for example, there's someone I found that's online that's looking to fundraise, or that might be a good person for you to talk to in terms of what you're building because you have similar interests. So I see your idea as being, first of all, I think it's really it's disruptive in the sense of a sector with where we're talking about venture capital that's uh, has a lot of gatekeeping. You've got traditional players that don't necessarily want to let new players in, So it's radical, and in a sense, your decision to include the strong artificial intelligence side, as well as, of course, your decision to think about platforms such as TikTok that are so successful and that are leveraging storytelling, the concept of feeds, the algorithm itself that brings different uh, things to your attention. I think those are really, really good ideas, and so I'm really excited to see how far this goes, and to help you, in a sense, talk a lot more about this. Because what I can do is I can also give you room in my magazine where we can feature you in a Q&A, where you can just talk about your journey as Elie, and then of course infuse the business concept that you're working on as well, and then that might help give you a little bit more visibility. Um, but I, of course, as you stated, I think it might be a bit tough in terms of because of all the people that could be disrupted, and then of course you mentioned the reference to Shark Tank and calling it the TikTok of Shark Tank. That's also gonna be awesome. I can see how many people would find it useful. Bypassing all the different levels of red tape that you have to go through to get listened to for something that you're building. So, man, I look forward to seeing your progress in this, and
I
you
mean,
have a thumbs up from me.
I mean, honestly, what like you said, the red tape. I mean, the thing most people don't understand is VCs are they're humans, they're people.
Yeah.
They're humans that found a very I wouldn't say easy, but a very like a form of investing with the most insane ROI. Gatekeeping it is normal, right? They would want to gatekeep it because they want all the great companies. Now, the thing that people don't realize is if I sent you 50 emails if 50 people sent you an email with a 15-page PDF document, would you read it? I wouldn't.
No.
Would you? Exactly. So that's something that I realized myself, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, they're people. Um, no one likes reading. What do people like doing? Well, people love watching TikTok. People, and now what if we could take it and make it and now we made it productive, and not only
Mhm.
productive, you could make an insane amount of money, right? Peter Thiel famously made for every $2 he put into Facebook, he made $200,000. For every $200 he put into Facebook, he made $200,000. You put
Mhm.
$500 into Facebook, you'd have $500,000. You
Mhm.
realize how insane that is?
It's
It's
insane.
it, yeah, for sure. And I'm very excited to have that open for everyone to participate in.
Okay. Let me ask you probably one last question. In terms of, okay, I can see a feed. I can see a founder on one side. I can see an investor on another side. What else am I seeing in terms of the interface? Am I seeing also instant opportunities for me to maybe, is there a place where I can say I'm investing this much money? Does it have a financial side as well? What else is on the interface?
Right, I'm glad you asked that. So first of all, the interface, you could think of it like Uber, right? The driver and the passenger don't really have the same interface because one of them has a map with the GPS on where they're going, and if they want to accept the ride, and the passenger selects where they're going. It's not the same thing. Same thing for here. So on the investor side, you could think of it as
Mhm.
first of all, the main page is just a feed. It's literally TikTok. However, instead of the buttons on the side, there's instead of the profile picture, it's just a button to see the company details. So there's problem solution. You can see their pitch deck. You can see all of their information. But this is once you already enjoy the pitch. Once you already know, okay, I'm interested. Now I'm going to read, right? Um, then there's all of their pitches, so you can see all the different pitches they made. Also, so if you have any questions, there's frequently asked questions. You could contact the founder, see the website, see all of their socials, um, and then there's the community. There's your portfolio, and it back to the innovation profile. Once you press on the profile, it's the innovation profile. Then there's also the funding section. So this is where you type in the number, however much you want to invest, and
Mm-hmm.
then you select if you want to either do donate support based, which would be you get nothing in return, it's just support. Equity based, meaning you get equity, or revenue based, meaning that you are basically buying revenue. And for the founder side, it's basically there's the tank page. So this is basically your company dashboard. You could edit the company profile. You could change the deck, add pitches, see analytics, see who's investing, see what pitches are making you the most clicks, see who's keeping up with you, which is like following the company. So let's say you don't necessarily you're not 100% convicted on an idea yet. You could keep up with it, and then it's kind of like following, and then you see their pitches more and more often. And then once you build enough of a conviction, then you can invest. So you could see who's keeping up, you could see who's sharing, et cetera, et cetera. And there's the community and your profile, and then there's yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Eli. Give us a little bit of information in terms of your LinkedIn profile so people can connect with you, follow you in terms of what you're doing, as well as the website.
Yeah, for sure. So my LinkedIn is Elie dash Bouzaglou, Bouzaglo, and the website is fishtank.vc, fishtank.vc.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, man. I wish you the best. Let's see, maybe in about 3 or 4 months, we can have a call again and see how much progress you've made. And hopefully, on my side, I can also make sure that I do some publicity for you on with my contacts on this side. I wish you the best. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mm.
All right, now it's done. As in, like, you're gonna.
Intersection, intersection. Magazine, magazine.
Intersection Magazine Podcast.